I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't even understand it. They all called themselves effinists, but what they were spewing was pretty effing far from what effinism was supposed to be. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to do part 6 of the very popular story about the Special Forces crew that unleashed Armageddon on their wives after they found they were all cheating. And guys, that series was amazing. Truly unbelievable. It's one of the best series of stories I've ever covered, and you guys certainly enjoyed it. And I got to tell you, I thought it'd be at least a week, if not more, before I'd cover anything else, because at the time, a few days ago when I did part 5, that was it. However, I woke up this morning and I got an email, and as it turns out, from the guy who wrote the story about this whole thing on Reddit. And when I first saw the email, man, I thought, oh shit, he's pissed. He's going to tell me to delete the videos. I shouldn't have done that, whatever. But it turns out the dude was very cool, very grateful for all you guys and the support you guys are showing. So he watched all the videos. He thanks you all, and he let me know that he did another update last night. So here we are now. And again, I don't need to go too much of a recap because you all know what happened in his story. But he found out that all his wife and all the other wives of his Special Forces crew were cheating. And they all, when they calmed down, formed a plan to unleash hell, Armageddon, those were his words, on them. And they did. And now he's moving on. And obviously the wife is, doing her thing and all that. And I ended it with him. He might have been in the llast episode. He may be reassigned someplace else, may sell the house. He's starting over and moving on, and that's really, really good here. Now, this update is titled, I finally have the full picture, and I'm so pissed off. And essentially, you're going to find out what led to this whole thing with regards to the woman who was in charge of the little friend group that his wife was in, and what led to the whole thing. And for you guys that follow my other channel, Strong Successful Male, what you're about to hear will not surprise you in the least. And I don't want to reveal it here, but you'll see as I get into it. So he starts off, or he continues. He says, so yesterday, at about 2000 hours, Queen Bee's ex-husband, my bro with the 6-year-old kid, received a message from his lawyer. He thought it was important, so he called his lawyer back. The lawyer told him that Queen Bee came to his office today to communicate a letter to my bro. At first, my bro thought he didn't want to read that letter and told the lawyer not to send him one, but one of my buddies convinced him at least to see what she had to say. They had just expected more BS, but what they got was infinitely worse. After everything these guys have been through, it's like, what could possibly be worse? Well, watch this. He says, Jesus, I feel like I'm back to day one, the day I first learned about their affairs. Both of them read the letter first and got really unsettled. And I mean, they were fuming. So they called us and gathered all of us, and then they opened up the email on his laptop and told us to read it all. So we did. The first few pages were just apologies, and her saying how she ruined everything, her future, our future, and how she's a monster bound for the deepest pits of hell, the same old BS. Then she thanked him profusely for showing mercy and getting her a place to stay and a stable job for the foreseeable future. Then came the juicy bit. I like that part, the deepest pits of hell. Sounds about right. It was a full written confession and timeline for when Queen Bee, according to this letter, and this all started about 9 years ago. 9 years ago. When Queen Bee had made some friends at the local library she used to frequent. There was a book club there or something like that. At first, they were just talking about books and their usual activities, but soon they started talking about Queen Bee's romantic life and how she was coping with her then boyfriend, now soon-to-be ex-husband. Coping with him being away from her on deployment, and then they started feeding her this weird anti-men narrative on how we are all controlling and how the wives are just supposed to stay quietly at home for some reason and that all men are monsters. Sounds like a crazy bunch of effinists. Sounds like the thing I talk about all the time on my other channel. And how we see our significant others as some sort of slave. It was some weird, messed up, jumbled version of Effinism, with no supporting arguments. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't even understand it. They all called themselves Effinists, but what they were spewing was pretty effing far from what Effinism was supposed to be. Welcome to how things are in the modern age. Welcome to modern Effinism, third wave, fourth wave Effinism, whatever the hell it is. Yes, what this is, it's not about equality and women being able to take care of themselves and being treated like human beings. What we have now, and have had for quite some time, this is about now, the pendulum has gone way, way further than it's already been. It's anti-men. It's hating on men, making men out to be the lowest scum on the face of the earth, trying to emasculate men, which they're doing, and also connecting with that, trying to influence the system, if you will, to mold the young boys to be more like women, and mold the women, young girls, to act like men. And it's a big freaking mess out there of anger and turmoil and all that, and that's supposed to be a good thing, not to mention after the S-word revolution, encouraging the gals to do exactly what his wife and all of them were doing. And they call that empowerment. You got to be shitting me. You get some angry fucking people that are unhappy with their lives, and they're spreading this venom to very impressionable people, and this is what we have today. And that's what happened. But everybody's accountable for their actions, including this dude's wife. He goes on, I always thought Effinism was supposed to be a moment that gave women rights and freedoms, like the ability to pursue good, healthy, and free lives, like ability to have a job or ability to vote and study. It was supposed to empower women to complement men's strengths with a woman's strength and be in turn complemented with a man's strength, which I respect. Men and women are equal, but we are different. Men have their strengths and weaknesses, and women have a different set of strengths and weaknesses. Like, for example, men are physically stronger, we have a denser bones and muscles, as well as a large lung capacity and more hemoglobin, meaning we are more adept at physical effort. Men also have more emotionally stable and compartmentalizing mind. Men have better depth perception and spatial awareness. But men also have our weaknesses, like men are emotionally stunted. We find it harder to connect emotionally and express emotions. Men are also socially awkward. Generally, we at best keep up with a circle of 10 to 35 friends. He says their women had their own strengths, like the ability to keep up with more than 200 to 800 friends, and emotionally and psychologically connect with them and support others. Women had the ability to connect with family and make them all stronger. Well, not lately, not for a very long time. Both men and women can do both, but we generally find it easier to stick to our strengths. This is all supported by actual science. Okay, that's a pretty good analysis of the situation. He goes on, he says here, men and women are supposed to have a complementary relationship, not a competitive one. That is called a family, where we're supposed to be each other's strengths and cover each other's weaknesses. Men are supposed to be the brain, and women are supposed to be the heart of the family. That's how humans have evolved to be. It's like creating an alloy where the resulting alloy is much more stronger than the composing metals. If my ex was an Effinist and was fighting some real injustice against women, something that could actually be proven with supporting evidence and arguments, then I would have carried her on my shoulders and made her taller and her voice louder. I would become her shield against any storm. Any stone thrown her way, hell, I would have thrown a bigger stone right back. But this is misandryism. Trying to suppress men and spreading poison is just disgusting. Yes, that's exactly what this is. Like I said before, what we have nowadays is pure freaking hate. And trying to make men out these second-class citizens. And sadly, they've done a darn good job of it. Look at the family courts. I mean, I can go on forever here. I do this all the time on the other channel. And if you guys support these views, check out my other channel if you haven't done so already. Strong, Successful Male. Anyway, what I was reading from her letter about what the spoon-fed queen bee was that, not Effinism. This was some weird, disgusting, man-hating cult of succubi dressed in a woman's skin. And they effectively brainwashed the queen bee by keeping her fed with constant flow of BS. It was like some well-trained indoctrination program. It was effed up. When Queen Bee was hooked, they then started to tell her to empower herself by exploring her, wait for it guys, sexuality, and live free, life unbound by shackles of men and monogamy. Like cheapening and selling yourself, your body, soul, and time and emotions for cheap thrills and material things is somehow supposed to be empowering. Like neglecting your spouses and true love is supposed to be somehow empowering. Like neglecting and putting someone who truly loves you in the same category as some random a-hole who just wants to pump and dump you is supposed to be somehow empowering. Exactly. It's all bullshit. Yeah, these women have guys that are truly love them, will do anything for them and the kids, bust their butt, risk their lives, and these are supposed to be the bad guys. They'll cheat on them, and they'll go cheat on them with guys that are absolute complete freaking lowlives. That's supposed to be empowering? You got to be kidding me. But that's the bullshit that's fed. But at the end of the day, regardless of the queen bee, as he's called her, being influenced by these a-holes, it was still her choice. She still had the free will to go and do these awful things. And then she went and influenced all this guy's groups of gals and wives and like that. Okay? Everybody makes a choice. And this guy's who wrote the story, his wife, as well as the wives of all the dudes in his crew, including Queen Bee here, they made a choice. So yeah, this woman here is being brainwashed by this BS, and it is BS. But at the end of the day, she made that choice, and she's responsible. End of story. So there's no sympathy for her or anybody else that does these awful things and buy into this indoctrination. This is what happens to a lot of gals, young girls, when they go off to college. They go to these very more liberal schools. They start taking these classes by these far to the left type of professors, fill their heads with all this shit, and they come back after a semester or 2 semesters, and the family don't recognize them anymore. They're completely different people. I've done plenty of stories like that over on the other channel. Anyway, he says, Queen Bee brought all this crap, bought into this crap, and 6 years ago, after marriage, and just after giving birth to her son, she started her infidelity and got addicted to it. Had 8 affairs. 8 freaking affairs. It's probably more than that, but probably 24 affairs. She then started to slowly drip the same poison all our ex's ears, promoting her BS like it's some kind of rite of passage. Something you must do if you're a woman. It was toxic as F. In a few months, another XW joined her BS, and they both started hanging out at bars and flirting up with their coworkers. Then they both started poisoning the rest of the crew. One by one, they all fell. He says, my ex was the last one who fell for this BS 3 years ago, just to fit in Queen Bee's words. Once they were all plagued by this contamination, they started organizing and covering for each other, like lying to us, their husbands, about all kinds of shit. There's a whole lot in this 24-page long confession. I mean, things I can't even talk about here because the very words disgust me. It's like reading Ted Bundy's journal. I can imagine, man. I've been doing this for 2.5 years and then living life just like the rest of the guys here and seeing this in real time. He says, is this what modern feminism has come to? Is this what all women have come to? Is this what our nation has come to? Is this what we are really fighting and bleeding to protect? Well, I would say, yes, that is what modern feminism has come to and is. And he says, is this what all women have come to? I would say a hell of a lot. Not all. But a lot of women will say, yeah, I'm a feminist. But don't realize what it has devolved into. Not that a lot of the ideas were that great back 100 years ago, but really what they are today. And I've pointed this thing out. I got 4% of my subscribers are on the other channel are women, and they support my work, and they send me emails and comment because they realize the poison that's out there. And I also obviously have women that in my personal life that know me, and when I explain a lot of these things, they start to realize and see in real time what's really going on. He says, I mean, really, if that's so, then I'm going to have to migrate to the EU or something. I feel rage like I've never felt before. It's like my anger at all this has reached some kind of apotheosis. I mean, I always suspected something like this was going on in the background, but this is all infinitely worse than anything I ever could imagine. Welcome to the club, brother. I've been talking about this for a long time, and dudes have been watching me. They experienced the same thing. And I want to go to the EU right now. Nobody's going to have any power this winter. He says, sorry, I just need to vent and gather my thoughts. Writing helps organize thoughts when you're enraged. We don't know what to do with this confession. I mean, I don't even know why the Queen Bee bothered sending this to us. Is this some kind of torture? And that is the end of his thing, and I'm going to read a few comments in a second. Well, she sent that, obviously, because she's looking for pity. That's what it was. She's hoping for hopefully some way, somehow, with the whole thing, that maybe, just maybe, her guy, and maybe on the behalf of the other girls that she poisoned, might, hopefully, some hope, divine intervention, in probably in her eyes, that the guys will forgive her and give her another chance because, like, well, it wasn't her fault because she was being poisoned by somebody else. Tough shit, okay? She acted, they influenced her, sure, fine, but she still made the choice to buy into that, the choice to go cheat on her good husband who's risking his life being deployed in harm's way all the time. She made that choice, and she made her bed, and now she can lie in it, being divorced, being shamed, all that. As with all the other wives whose mind she poisoned. But that's what it's all about. She's probably hoping for, it's a last-ditch effort to maybe get her guy, her husband, to give her another chance. Don't fucking do it. Don't buy into it. So yes, sir, and I know you're going to probably respond to my email because now I'm going to let you know I put this video up, but you have every right to be pissed. But that's what's been going on nowadays. This mindset is behind a lot of these stories I cover from dudes all over the world, whether it's stories that are sent to me from Reddit or personal stories that subscribers from my other channel email to me, which led to their divorce or breakup, or the wife or the girlfriend wanting open marriage. At the end of it, it all comes back down to this. And it's pure poison. And until more people talk about this and call it for what it is, it's just going to get worse. So you have seen, there you go. So, but bro, I wish you the best. Looking forward to more future updates. Keep working on moving on, you and your bros, and we all got your back there. Now, a few comments real quick, and I'll wrap this up, guys. One guy says here, you are right with what you said that also leads to the truth. It doesn't matter what anybody else did or said. What matters is what you want to believe them, and if you want to spend time with such people. Regarding this woman and spending time with those a-holes that poisoned her mind. If Queen Bee or your wife would have never wanted to cheat on you, then the whole world could have told them whatever they wanted. It wouldn't have changed a thing. If a person doesn't want to hurt their partner, then they won't do it. At least not on such a deep level. In my personal opinion, they would have cheated on their partner sooner or later, and what they heard from the other woman just took care of that sooner. They were not brainwashed or anything like that. They made the decision to spend time with other people who told them that their partner is bad or evil or whatever. Queen Bee and all her friends, including your wife, made first of all a decision to spend time with people that they talked badly about their partner. They did that because they wanted to do that. You know what happens to people in my life that talk badly about my partner? They are very quickly no longer a part of my life. It's all about decision making. Exactly. This Queen Bee woman should have walked the hell out of there when these women started trashing her husband and men in general. But no, that was just her excuse. At least your wife seems to have to understand that and hasn't tried to blame others for her very own decision. Another guy says here, thing is, they knew about the consequences. They knew it was just BS that they told themselves. They knew exactly what they were doing. There was a reason why your wife cut the people out of her life that told her otherwise, because she knew they were right, and they just wanted to turn away from the people who haven't told her what she wanted to hear. Yeah, I remember that now. Early on in the story, his wife was cutting off people that pretty much would tell her she's the freaking devil for cheating on the good man that's her husband. And the last one, this guy says, they were caught and they suffer the consequences. Feminism didn't win. But don't ever go back. And that is for all your friends and you, to these pieces of shit. Have the best of lives now and show them you don't need them anymore. Amen. Amen, bro. So you and your bros keep on keeping on, as Joe Dirt would say. And take it one day at a time, and y'all are going to be fine. And there's going to be more things going on with them, and obviously the divorce and everything. But don't cave, don't go back. Start over. You're 36 years old. I believe you're 36. You got your life ahead of you, my man. One day at a time. So, all right, guys, that was it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let this guy know what you think about this. Give him a shout out because he will watch this video. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.